What's up, everybody? We are now live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Well, YouTube is coming on, Instagram is coming on. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Is your Instagram going live, Natalie?
Now it is. It took forever to do it.
Yeah, mine was too. Yeah, mine still is actually.
I don't know
All
what.
right, guys. Yeah, mine's not live. I don't know what's going on. It's like, nah, bro. Let me try it again. Let me see. All right, guys, we are officially live. And no, I'm not live. I don't think.
You know what? Technology been acting crazy like all week. I have messages from Square, from Stripe, from all these different places, Evernote, that the technology has not been working right. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let me try my stream code in. Yeah, let me try to re-add it again. All right, guys, we're going live, guys. Like and share this feed. We're excited to be talking to you guys today. It's episode 84, which we're excited about. Okay, I think now it's live. Let me see. Yeah, it's giving me a part time. Anyway, whatever. I'm not gonna wait too long on that. All right, now, so what's going on with you so far this week? What's been going on? Tell me like your top 3 highlights of the week so far.
All right, so top 3 highlights. I have just added another cohort in my academy. And so
Okay, cohort.
I've been on sales calls all week. And let me tell you something. Your girl's closing rate is 100%. 100%. Every person that came on was like, when do I sign up? Give me the
That's
link.
dope.
You heard? So it has been, that's one of the top ones. Second one was I got to clean my whole house today. Kids be kidsing, and today I was like, you know what, we're gonna clean the whole house. Yeah, I'm talking about y'all. We're gonna clean the whole house, and I cleaned everything. The only thing left is to do laundry. And then the last thing is I'm just enjoying being me and evolving into this phenomenal business coach that is emerging, and so I'm just excited. That's it. Top 3.
That's dope. My top 3 is yesterday I went event place shopping. On Monday, I think I found a place I want to do business out of, which I'm so excited. So we're about to get brunch popping real soon. So I'm going through some price. It's been a long journey for me to find where I want to do it at, and the price and locations is perfect for me. Secondly, is that I've just been focused on putting me first. A lot of times too, we want to help everybody else out, and helping people out are good, but you can't pour from an empty cup. And thirdly, just gigs have been going really well. Like I've been doing a lot of last minute gigs. I've been like coming in the nick of time. And now I'm excited because I'm planning a vacation for like the end of the month. So I'm always ready for a trip. So I have been on a trip in like 2 weeks. So I'm like itching, like let me get out, let me get out, let me get out. But like what we're talking about today, which is so cool, episode 84, is removing distractions to pivot. And I think a lot of times, and Natalie know this, since we're talking about it, is sometimes you're in a place where you're always doing so much, or you have a goal in mind. You start in 2024. 2024 is the year for me. 2024 is this. Like we have all these mantras, but by January 15th, we ain't even do what we said we're gonna do because we let so many distractions come into our life. So I think that's so important that when distractions are on the rise, we have to make a quick transition to pivot. So we're learning to remove distractions to pivot.
So remove distractions. What is a distraction to you? Because for some people it's a distraction, and other people it's like, yeah, I want this to happen. It's something that they invite into their situation. So what would you classify a distraction?
That's a good question. I think a distraction is whatever holding you back from getting to where you want to be at. So now I feel there's some good distractions and some bad distractions. My friend had a conversation, Daria. We were talking about how, like, getting to know us, we're beautiful distractions. Like, some things that you're making goals towards is not where you're meant to be. So God will send certain distractions to remind you, hey, this ain't it. Let me move forward. But there are some distractions where you got to really look at your daily interactions. And if I know my goal is to end up here, and I realize every day I'm not ending up here, I gotta find out what's in my way of me being a completer. I have some students where I get on them because I'm like, yo, you guys are so talented, but you're not completers. You can be as talented as you want, but if you're not being a completer of one thing, how can you successfully move to the next thing when you have completed one thing? And I've learned that a challenge for me, because I am so creative, that I'll put my hands in so many pots that my hands are moving so much that I never finish one thing. So I've learned that with me being a multitasker, sometimes I have to put steps behind each task to get it done. So I think what's really good for me is to limit distractions is I stay really good with my notes and visuals. Sometimes I'll take a big piece of paper and I write the overall goal down, and these are steps I need to take to get it. So I've learned that I have to complete those goals. Like, what are the pressing goals for this situation I'm trying to accomplish? And I think when you don't write stuff out, things can be very become distraction. That we talked about before, the enemy of the old idea is a new idea, and we have to sometimes finalize the first idea, see if, okay, do we want to move on from this or do you want to accomplish this? Like, what do we want to do? Because in entrepreneurship, sometimes you got to make quick transitions because some things that you're doing ain't it, or some things that you're not doing is it. So you got to figure out what works for you. So, like, one of my distractions is I'm so creative, so I have to see, this is a great idea, but is this the right time, the month, the day to do this idea? Because, like, for me to promote Thanksgiving orders during Valentine's Day, that makes sense. My main focus, if you guys see my Instagram, is promoting dinner parties, because what sells during Valentine's Day? Dinner parties. If you guys know, a few days ago I posted something about Black History Month, because a lot of people buy pans of food for things for the hit Black History Month. So I have to make things make sense. And when you look at your overall goal and you start seeing your daily activities, is this what you're doing, a distraction, or is it meant for you to do it right now?
Okay, I love that. I am gonna keep that as my definition for distractions as well, because that is really, really good. I love that. And for me, it is, I look at it as whatever is stopping me from becoming who I already am, like my future version
Mm,
of myself, then that's a distraction. I had a
that's
distraction
good.
this week, and just because I wanted to be petty, and it, it caused me to. I feel like it caused me to show up in one of my sales calls less than who I was. So I had this thought in
Mm,
my mind that said, I don't want to do none of this. I don't want to be I don't want to be a part of any of this. And it stemmed from a conversation that I had with my husband. And from that
mm,
conversation, the thought came in, I could just be a good wife and mother. Why am I doing all this business stuff? Why all this extra stuff? And then that became, that thought actually opened up the door for distraction, so that when I got in my
mm,
sales call, I wasn't, for me anyway, I know how I show up, and I was showing up like not on 100 like I used to be. I was on like 8 or 7. And I'm looking at myself like, why are you showing up like this? Until the client says something. And I was like, ooh, I get it. And I had really allowed myself to get distracted from who I was becoming, because I wanted to, in
mm,
that moment, stay at my lower self. Like, I wanted to be who I used to be. Like, I just want to be petty. I just want to not grow. I just want to take some time off of all this personal and professional development into becoming this next version of myself, like we always talk about. And sometimes that junk gets annoying. Sometimes
mm,
especially when people are doing stuff to you, you're like, can I just match your energy? You nasty. Can I just match you with nastiness? You not, you know what I mean? Like, you not, if it's a client, you not even paying me. Can I just show up not being 100% myself because you don't want to
yeah.
pay me on time? And it's just like, you have to make a decision to not to let the distraction stop you from becoming who you know you are to be. Don't let the distractions take you back into that lesser form of who you are. And I love that
Mm,
you attach it to the goals, because the goals, the actual things that you're doing, the decisions, I'll say that, the decisions that you're making is really impacting who you're becoming. I think it was Creflo or somebody, I can't remember, that saying that you are just one decision away from your future. And we don't realize
mm,
that. Like, one decision in the moment to be petty caused me to show up in my sales call like, I ain't even feeling this thing. But if she hadn't already decided from beforehand, if this was her first time ever meeting me, I promise you that woman would
mm,
have said no. But because she met me before when I was at 100, right? She gave me grace in the 8 or 7 that I was showing up as.
mm,
I was like, you know what? She's probably having an off day. right? That goes to show another thing too. But don't let the distractions knock you off of who you are to become. That's one of the main things. And the goals that Chef Jay was talking about, those things, those decisions that you're making really impact who you're becoming in the future.
I think that was dope. First off, because I think it went back to my response is determined by who I know I'm meant to be. And I think when we start moving that way, we move differently. There are sometimes I want to respond to certain people, certain clients, like, if you don't get my phone, please stop. But when you start thinking about that, is like, no, I want to show up to the marketplace always professional, always just all giving my best. And I've learned that when I show up the way I want to be seen as an entrepreneur, the whole energy shifts. A lot of times we change our energy because based our response, our energy based off how someone's giving to us. But my goal is to realize that no, let me just chill out. Let me figure out the best response situation because I don't want to develop a reputation that doesn't fit where I belong at. So I've learned to just let me think about what I'm thinking about. Let me monitor my responses. And I think, when some people especially like in the dating realm, people like are easily offended sometimes or communication is different on both ends. What I've learned that is if I am friends with you or dating, whatever it is, or in business with you, my first thing is to learn how you communicate best because I want to be an effective communicator at all times. So my first thing is, okay, how do you communicate best, Natalie? Okay, so based off how you communicate, let me deliver my messages based off of how you communicate. All right, especially entrepreneur, you got to read clients fast because sometimes you wonder why things aren't working. Is have you taken time to understand your audience? In my master's program right now, we just finished a class on with dealing with empathy with our clients, where sometimes you have to have be in such a mode of empathy where you understand where someone's coming from and you know how to serve them where they are. Because there's certain times where it's not that what we have isn't for people. Sometimes I gotta alter certain things to meet your needs to help you elevate to the next thing. Like for me, I offer different packages because that I might not meet you there, but I might have something that meets you at this point. And I think sometimes we get distracted trying to serve everybody when let me tell you why I can work with you, and let me tell you what's not going to work for me. And once you develop the sense of knowing who you are or knowing who you want to be, you move differently. Like I think one of the best things, like I say this all the time, when I travel with some dope multimillionaires, and I realized how they moved and talked differently, even when stuff seemed chaotic. That I mean, it means I would have handled it this way, but they're looking at the situation from a different angle. So, for example, there's a scripture that says that we sit in heavenly places with Christ Jesus, right? So that's above. And then that Christ lives in us, right? So whenever I realize my situation or what I'm going through, I always have to look at it from Christ's viewpoint, which is above the situation, not always in the situation. So if I look at it above it and Christ lives in me, I know that I have a greater hope. I know I have a greater faith. I have to look at my situation in a different perspective. So when as it relates to distractions, I have to look above my distraction. What is the real? Because sometimes we don't even know things are distractions because we're so engulfed into what's going on that we don't take a moment to say, "Let me stop and see what does this thing really mean for me." Because when you start going through life, and especially as an entrepreneur, there are some things that feel like you're on attack mode all the time. You're always defensive because if it's not one thing, it's another. When honestly, if I notice what's attacking me or what's really bothering me, I start to realize what is the purpose of what's coming. Is it meant to be a distraction? Is it coming to me to build faith? Is it coming to me to build something inside of me that's really I'm conflicted with? And now Halima's on, so me and Halima talk a lot about a lot of times too. Where, like, don't get me wrong, we don't ever mind working, right? But there are some things at work that is really like a distraction from if we put the same energy in our business, what can we do out of that? So we know we need resources right now, but what can we do to still get the same benefit from our businesses? So I think it's important to realize that what are you doing currently right now? Like if you take a daily inventory of stuff that you do, right? Is this really beneficial for you to do this? Is this what I'm doing today? a distraction? Am I growing from this moment? Am I like, how am I benefiting from situations? And when you start to analyze why you do what you do, how you do what you do, why are you even doing this? Like once you start to analyze that, you start to realize every day, like, oh, here's the problem. I took a moment to analyze this and to realize that, hey, let me remove this because this is a distraction and it's causing me to not pivot in the areas that I need to grow. So if I know that I'm meant to be an example, I'm meant to be a gift, I'm meant to be this, I'm meant to be that, what is the quality habits of what you're meant to be? If I'm meant to be a singer and I'm not practicing, those are what is distracting me from not practicing to be the best singer I can be. Like for example, there's Victoria who just won a Grammy for I forgot what she won. I think R&B artist, whatever it is. She won a Grammy, but back 10 years ago, 13, 11 years ago, she posted something on Instagram about let me get back to work to get this Grammy. It may have taken a 13, but might have been times like she was ready to give up. It wasn't where it was, but she took time to perfect herself to make that goal. So what are you taking time to analyze every day to perfect yourself, to analyze, to remove distractions, and to pivot?
Yeah, I was blowing up the chat because you said you need to ask the distractions, what's your purpose here? And we don't take the time to ask, what's your purpose here? Of course, the purpose coach gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? Like everything needs to have a purpose. Everything needs to have an end goal, right? And so, what is the distraction? What is the purpose of the distraction? I literally just had a conversation with a client about this. Like, it seems like this is the end all be all. It seems like this is something that is so like you're never gonna get over this, but baby, trust me, you will.
Mm-hmm.
It's a distraction against your purpose, against your creativity. It's coming to deplete your energy so that you don't show up as your best self. And so we had to tap into her future self. I said, who are you in the future? She says, I'm a billionaire. I said, so as a billionaire, you got to make billionaire decisions today.
Mm-hmm.
You said, I'm getting excited because you said something real good. You said when you got around millionaires, I watched how millionaires handle their distractions. I watched how millionaires handle their disappointments, and they don't talk the same way that broke people talk. They got a different language, they got a different kind of speech, and we have to embody that even while we are not seeing the millions rolling in just yet, because you are exactly who God said you are. God said you're a billionaire. Boom, that's it. It's done. There is no going back and forth. Now it's up to you to make billionaire decisions. Let me get it right. In order for you to actually see God's preferred destiny for you, because he wants you to see what he sees. But if you don't make the decisions to move toward what God sees, you will never see it. You got to make the choices. You got to make the decision. And you got to make a decision from the future you. You can't be the broke you making decisions for billionaire you. No, billionaire you needs to come into the present and make the decision today as if you already got the money. Because guess what? God stands outside of time. He don't see the broke and the billionaire as two different persons. He says, you the billionaire now. Move like you know who you are. You get me fired up. I'm going to calm down.
That's good.
It is remove the distraction by talking different, by moving different, by seeing yourself as the already overcome person. And from that point of view, make your decisions. Don't make your decisions from the broke you, from the you that wants the thing right now. Make the decision from the you that already has the thing that you're desiring. How would that person move? And pivot that way.
That's good. You gotta be at a place where that I move based of where I want to be at. Where there are a lot of times where, I don't move in my current place. I don't move in my current spot. I don't move out of my current situation. I move and only think about where I want to be at. So for example, like Natalie said, like I don't make moves based off what I experience. There's some people that experience depression. There's some people that experience oppression. We all experience certain things. But if I want to get to the next level, I have to put myself first and my future first and say, hey, if I desire to be here, I have to make the necessary moves to do that. Like for example, is like I know I want to get this event based situation going, so I committed to put $500 every 2 weeks to the side because I know for a fact I want to be here. So let me put this $1,000 a month because I know for in fact in the summertime, I want to have extra resources. I can have certain things adjusted. So I have to live and think from where I want to be at. There are certain things that we all have different goals, and or some goals that we don't know about too, because some people make goals that if they see what their life is leading to, they might realize that that's the goal that's going to happen to them of that. But as I start to live and make goals, I start to see, okay, if I do this today, how is it going to affect my tomorrow? Like one reason why I'm so big on sowing is because whatever you sow, you shall reap, and I sow because I love to give. But in introspect to that, what are you doing now that's going to sow seeds today into the future you're going to reap tomorrow? Like, what are you doing? What is your daily activity of seed sowing that tomorrow, the next day, you're going to benefit from? Because some things, some moves we don't benefit from today. It may take a while. It may take 10 years. It may take 5 years to make a few months. But you want to make sure that you develop a frequency of success in your life by one sowing seeds, doing good, by really monitoring your actions, monitoring your words. Like I cannot take when people say, "Man, I'm so broke." I haven't said like I have never said that. Like that's even part of my vocabulary because I know for once I start speaking certain things, I'm manifesting to my future. So I speak certain things today that's going to impact my tomorrow. So I'm so pressed on like, yo, Shay, if you don't want life to be like this, what are you doing to change it? Like, what are you doing that if there's certain areas that you see you're lacking in your life, what are you doing today for tomorrow? Because if we start, life is a series of events that started from one action. So if I make the action today, what will this action lead to tomorrow, next week, next month, next year? So my goal is to focus on what I'm doing now and enjoy the moment, but let me enjoy the moment so I can also let me put some work in so I can enjoy tomorrow. If you're spending all that you have, what are you doing now? Like, if all you're spending is nothing towards futuristic things, that's a problem. A lot of my resources are tied up into spending futuristic stuff because I know I'll need a later date. So when I have it at that date, I already have what I need. Like when I first started doing private dining at the spot I'm at now, for 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, for 4 years, I literally brought stuff for where I was gonna go. I brought plates, cups, napkins, chairs, centerpieces. Like I just was buying stuff every 2 weeks. I committed to buying something out of each paycheck. So when I was ready to move to my new spot, everything I had, I needed because I used wisdom to realize, Jay, you're always not going to be here. So because you're always not going to be in this place, what are you going to sow for tomorrow? Because it takes you to really think about, hey, listen, life is so short. Or you never know, like how Natalie said, like you're one decision away from your big move, but that one decision might have been for the last 2 months. You've been buying stuff, you put stuff up, you've been saving, you've been doing this. You took this e-course, you took this e-course, you took that one. Like for like even to like me doing my master's program, I never thought I would go back to school. Like what I gotta do, I'm not trying to be funny, but like as a chef, I don't need to go back to school. Like I had what I need, but then I thought about it, I'm like, yo, I really want to go to school. And I had got so much opposition with going back to school that I know it's something deep in store by me getting this master's program. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm like, I know you got me doing it for a reason. So let me just focus on and enjoying the class and learn as much as I can. So when it's time to move on and pivot, I'm like, man, that's why you wanted me to do that. I didn't realize that because sometimes we're not able to see the whole vision behind it, where we have to take step by step and then step by step and enjoy the process because you never know what your left step and what your right step is going to walk you into. So I've learned that as I have this journey of life, I take my time to let me learn how to enjoy the process. Let me learn how to keep working hard, but let me realize that the work I do today is going to me put me one step closer towards where I want to be at. And sometimes, if God will blow your mind if He tells you what He wants to do with you. But sometimes it may take you. He may give you a little part of the vision, and because the Bible says so, He'll do exceedingly abundantly above all that you ask to think. So you maybe think you go in one place, and then He just does His abundant blessing. But because you were obedient at getting rid of the distractions that were not meant to help you propel in life, but were are really distractions to keep you back.
I had something and I forgot. There was so much good stuff. Oh my, over here, like, oh my, oh, the life is a series of events that begin with one action. That is mind blowing. Like, your one
Hmm.
decision could be the pivot that you need to go in the right direction. And so, thinking about what decision you need to make today, right?
Hmm.
That one decision could be the thing that actually removes all the distraction. The one decision could be writing the vision down. The one
Hmm.
decision could be getting in coaching with Chef J and myself. I know people
Hmm.
that got into coaching with us and their life has completely changed. And that has removed the distraction by just signing up for a coach, by just writing down the vision on a sheet of paper. That removed
Hmm.
the distraction. That was the pivot that you needed. You've been talking this thing all the time and you've been telling people, but you have not written it down. You're not saying the same message over and over. So it sounds like 17 different things because you have had no clarity by writing down
Hmm.
the vision and making it plain, right? The one decision it could be deciding, listen, I have purpose. I may not know what it is just yet, but I know because I'm breathing and I'm living, I have a purpose. And that can eliminate all the distractions, all the people that are calling you to go here, there, everywhere, invest in this, do this thing or whatever, because you've decided you have purpose in your life. That can be the thing that eliminates the distraction. So I love that you said life is a series of events, but it all began with one action. One decision can change it all. Yeah, Lori dropped it in Facebook. She says all it takes is one decision. That's all it takes
Hmm.
to make up your mind, make a decision, and to follow through on that decision. And that could be the catalyst to removing or even eliminating completely the distractions around you in this moment so that you can hear clearly what God is saying, understand what you want in your own life, and move forward in the right direction. So that's all I have. That was good.
Yeah, now that was good. It takes this one step. So think about what are the steps I need to take for the rest of this month to be dope. Well, I need to set the steps for the end of the day. Forget the rest of the month. Sometimes we trying to plan stuff out too far. Let me just worry about today. Today I got to work on me. Today I don't want to wait till tomorrow. Let me start today. It's only 4:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what can I do for the rest of the day to set up my tomorrow? What can I write out to make plans? So you want to get into the habit of really just looking at yourself and say, you know, I enjoy doing this, but what do I need to do to make it work? You're destined to be great. You're a gift. You're amazing. You're awesome. You're phenomenal. Uh, but sometimes people don't see that because you're not making the right decisions. So, what decisions you have to make to be where God wants you to be, where you want you to be, and take it from there. If you're looking for coaching, reach out to Natalie. If you're looking for coaching for myself, for purpose and clarity, one of us will help you out at the point. And just know that you're meant to be great, and just remember that always. And what does it mean to be great? X, Y, and Z. What does it mean to be great to you? You got to know what works for you. If you don't take time to be real with you, you're gonna keep going around in circles. If you don't take time to really figure out what works for you, like forget Natalie's Jay, you good at this. I'm not saying that she's not right, but I have to see certain things for myself. I have to be aware of certain things myself to say, you know what, you're right. So what are my action steps? Let me get clarity on what works for me, what God has given me. Because sometimes we can't even know what the vision for life because we have no type of direction. You know, like I think the reason why I stay in education so long because I know that I'm around my students, helping give them directions. Forget cooking, like direction. Where are you headed? And I think too, until you take time to really find out where you're headed, you're gonna keep going in circles. Like the Israelites end up going in circles for 40 years because they did not make a decision to trust the plan of God for their life. So what are you not trusting God for in your own life that you're going around in circles and circles and circles? Not fulfilling his will for your life because you like, I don't want to do that. Like if you take time to just focus and say, God, today I thank you for a brand new day. I thank you, Lord, that you're revealing to me what do you want me to do? And once you have that open, honest conversation, you'd be surprised what comes out of that conversation. So, guys, thank you for watching this week. Have a super dope week on purpose. If you missed out on the podcast, watch out again because today we talked about removing distractions to pivot. You're just one decision away from where you want to be at. So, guys, have a good week on purpose, and we'll see you next Wednesday or next Thursday. I forgot which one it is, but we'll talk about it. All right.